Hi everyone, welcome to Taking Care of Business. This is Victoria Jennings from Entrepreneurs Business School, and this morning I'm sharing with you from Paycheck to Profits, the step-by-step plan to ditch your 9 to 5 and go full-time into business. I know there are a lot of you here in the group who are building a business, so you're doing it like a side hustle and you've still got a full-time job, a lot of you. And you haven't been able to take that leap of faith, right? And it really is a leap of faith because I remember doing it myself, where you've got to actually step off the cliff and take that first step and know that the universe is going to meet your foot, support you, and be there for you so that you can continue on the entrepreneurial journey full time. So until you do that, I really call those entrepreneurs apprentice entrepreneurs, because until you're full-time in it, you're not an entrepreneur. You're heading in that direction, but you're not there yet, okay? So today I want to look at what strategies you can put in place so that you can make this happen faster, so that you can feel safe about the transition, and make sure that you've got things in place that will financially support you as well before you take that final big leap of faith. And I did this myself. I worked for 3 days a week part-time with my employer before I took my leap of faith. So I have experience in this area. I do know what it feels like to take that leap of faith, and how scary, really scary it is when you're going from and being employed to being the employer. Okay, it's very different. So this is what today is all about. So we're going to look at why most side hustlers stay stuck. I was talking to someone last week, and they started their business in 2019 and they're still not in their business full time. They're still working a full-time job. So you can get trapped. You can get so stuck in doing this side hustle gig that you never move out of it. And I don't want to see that happen to any of you. So that's what today is really about. The biggest fear that keeps entrepreneurs trapped in their job is regular income, or I should say the appearance of regular income, because there is no job security today. None. Not even in government. We've just seen what's happening to the public service in the USA at the moment. There's no guarantee of any job in this world today. And especially with the introduction of artificial intelligence at the moment, lots of jobs are being lost. So lots of jobs are disappearing. Whole divisions in large organizations are being shut down because of AI. Okay, so we're living in very, very different times. I believe we're going to go back to the cottage industry, but we'll see what unfolds. So it's important to let that go, let that fallacy of job security, keeping you in a wage, keeping your income capped, because that's what a wage does. It keeps you capped. It keeps you stuck. You can't grow if you're earning a wage, if you're exchanging time for money. You may own your home. You might even own a couple of investment homes by the time you retire, if you're very frugal and use your money wisely. But you won't get the freedom that the vehicle of a business can bring. You'll never get that financial freedom, that time freedom, the ability to design the life that you want by design, the actual life you want to have. You don't get to do that while you're in a job. And this is why I'm so passionate about business. This is why I'm so passionate about giving the tools to everyone so everyone can have a business. I would love all of us to be entrepreneurs and exchange services and products, you know, and have the whole economy like that. But having said that, let's just worry about you at the moment and see how you can transition from paycheck to profit. Okay, so if you stay in the employee mindset, and having a job will keep you in that employee mindset, it will sabotage your business. It'll keep sabotaging your business because you'll keep thinking, oh, this is secure, I know how much money is coming in, you know, I'm happy to do this, I'm building my business. Or you'll kid yourself that you're building your business when in fact you're probably not. It probably comes last and is something you work on at night, you know, and then you're tired, and so you intend to spend 3 hours on it, you end up spending 1 hour on it. So the timelines and your expectations around those timelines start to blow out. So there's a big difference between a hobby income and a scalable business. And I mean, I talk about this all the time, how you scale and all of those things. There's a definite roadmap to doing that. But often the hobby stays the hobby, sometimes for years, like I just said with the gentleman I spoke to last week. Okay, so we've got to move you into action somehow so that you feel comfortable, so that you can let go, so you can jump off the cliff and move from an apprentice entrepreneur to full-blown entrepreneur. So how do you know when it's time to leave, to take that leap of faith? Well, there's a financial runway that you have. It's invisible. You probably don't know you have it. It comes from our internal beliefs. It comes from our parents and what they told us as we were growing up about money. It comes from our relationship with money. All of those things come into play. So how much savings do you need to have before you feel you can quit? Or how much revenue do you need to be making from your business consistently before you feel you can quit? Now, some people don't even know what that is. So the first thing to do, and it will depend on your outgoings and what you need to support, right? So you want to have a little bit left over for safety, left over for comfort too. If a fridge blows up or whatever, you want to be able to deal with that without much trouble. So what is your safety net? Have a goal, work it out, and put a goal in mind that when the business starts turning over X, then I will feel comfortable, and it does it for at least 3 months consistently, then I will feel comfortable to exit my job. What is that for you? You've got to have a goal. You've got to write it down, whatever that is, because otherwise you'll never achieve it. So know what your figure is that will allow you to resign. And resign on good terms. Well, I'm not talking about telling the boss off and blah, 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 blah. Never, ever, ever burn a bridge. Because if you leave in good, you know, with good relationship intact, you can always go back if anything goes wrong. Okay? So don't burn any bridges. It's not wise to do that in life anyway, in any area of life. So could then create a 6 to 12 month transition plan that removes all the risk. All right? Because you should be able to do this in 6 to 12 months with earnest effort. But it does take effort. And that's another thing I see it's moving from the 9 to 5 mentality, is because you're working for someone else, you're only getting paid from 9 to 5, right? So you only put in from 9 to 5. No more, no less. And you kind of have that mentality in your business as well. You'll only put in X number of hours. Well, sometimes you've got to put in a lot more. Sometimes you've got to work all weekend. Sometimes you've got to work every evening. Turn off the television set. Turn off all the distractions. They're just distractions. They're holding you back from building a successful business. You've got to get self-disciplined to be able to do this in 6 to 12 months. And you don't want it to drag on for longer than that. Okay? The next thing you need to look at is the mindset that you need to have. So while, as I said, employees trade time for money, entrepreneurs leverage systems and people to create money. So it's very, very different. And you're going to be relying on others. You're going to have to trust others. You're going to have to trust yourself. You're going to have to trust that you can bring in those dollars consistently every month, because the buck stops with you. And that's a very different mindset than being the employee who knows exactly this amount of money is going to show up in my account every week, fortnight or month, right? And you can pretty much guarantee if you've worked that month, you're going to receive that income. So this is a very different mindset that you need to have. You need to step it up. You need to be the one who's prepared to take on responsibilities. You need to be responsible for other people. I employ people and I have to pay payroll every week. You know, that was huge responsibility when I began. When I began, sometimes it was touch and go whether I'd make payroll sometimes. Okay? But you have an obligation to those people. You have an obligation to those families. And you are the reason those families can eat and can pay their rent. And you have to take all of that on board as the business owner. And I take that on board very seriously and very humbly. So you've got to make sure you're going to at least be able to meet payroll and rent and whatever else. I've got, you know, in my other business, I've got car leases and all sorts of leases, all sorts of expenses because we have an office, a physical place of business, and all the things that go with that. So if you've got that, you're going to have to factor all of that in as well. Okay. And then you'll need to do like an identity upgrade of going from, well, I'm okay because I'm working. I know exactly how much is turning up in my account next week, because when you're in your business full time, you can have a general idea of what's going to turn up in your account this week, this month, but you can't guarantee it'll be exactly the same amount every month. And I can give you an example. We had a really, really great month this month, but then I got to BAS bills, which showed up 2 weeks ago. And so a lot of money. And of course, we know that's coming, but it still shocks me every time it comes and I've got to, you know, take it out. It makes a big hole in the account at that time. And I don't feel it, but it grabs my attention when that happens. Okay, so you've got to allow for that too, all of the things that you have to pay, all of your expenses, etc. So you've got to start thinking and acting like the business owner, and you've got to start thinking that, you know, you'll be able to meet all these requirements. You'll have enough there. You'll have some wriggle room, what I call wriggle room. I always like to have 3 months of operational expenses in the bank behind us, because I believe, and I keep saying this, but I'll keep saying it so you hear it, I believe it takes 12 weeks to get out of any mess that might happen that you didn't know was going to happen. About 12 weeks will get you out of it. So I believe you need at least 12 weeks of solid income before you can exit your paid job, okay? Start thinking about profits, not income. When you're a business owner, it's about profit. It's not about revenue. Revenue is half the story. Revenue is great, but when you take away all of your expenses, you want to make sure you've still got a balance left over. That's called profit, okay? And people, I know, especially when they're starting out in business, they're still in that income mindset, you know, the wage mindset, and they think, oh, all this money coming in is all mine. No, it's not. There's a whole lot of bills that need to be paid every month. There's legislative requirements that you need to pay for. There's BAS, there's payroll tax if you've got employees, etc. There's superannuation that needs to be paid. Like there's all of these things that go out. Then there's rent. Then there's leases of cars. Blah 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 blah. If you've got all of that burden, okay, and that all has to come out, and what's left over is what is yours. Okay, hopefully you'll pay yourself a salary eventually too, and that will come out of it as well. But the cream, the stuff that creates asset generation, the stuff that is going to leave a legacy for your family, that's called profit. And if you're not making it, then you're not really in business. You've just bought yourself a job. Does that make sense? If there's nothing left over, you've just got enough to pay your bills, you just bought yourself another job, because that's what a job will do for you. So you've got to start thinking about scalability. How can you scale the business? How can you grow the business? What people do you need to have in place? Whether they be outsourced or whether they be recruited, that doesn't matter. You know, sales teams, your networking people, your people who promote on your behalf, your relationship builders. And then on the other side of the fence, you need systems and processes that are going to support that. Your systems and processes are going to make sure you've got profit. Your people are going to make sure you've got revenue. All right. So how do you leverage the lead generation? Are you going to give back? Like, are you going to give back 10% of profit to some charities? Or what's that going to look like? There's a big belief around the more you give, the more you receive. And I still believe that that is true. So if you have these other causes, your business will rise to meet those occasions as well. So you want to be expansive. You want your profit to be expansive. And while you're in a job, you're going to be capped. You're capped at a certain level. You stay there. You never move from that level. Okay. Even, it doesn't matter. Even if you're on $500,000 a year, you're still capped at $500,000 a year. Okay. So building a business that can replace your income is your first goal. So you need the right product strategy. You need the pricing right to make sure you're making a profit. You need your message to market to be absolutely spot on. And you need scalable, automated offers to help balance all of that out. The difference between active income versus leveraged income is active income is capped and leveraged income is infinite. There's no cap. And that to me is exciting. That was one of the reasons I wanted to get into business, right? The key is to create consistent cash flow so you know when it's time to quit the job, so you can focus totally on your business. Making the leap without burning the bridge, which I spoke about before. Should you quit cold turkey and your income stops? Okay, there are pros and cons for that. The pros are the income stops. Yeah. The cons are the income stops. The pros are it may actually force you into action and make sure you put things in place quickly. It will motivate you if you're a moving away from person. It will motivate you to get it finished. Some people need that. I'm one of those. That's me. I need to be motivated and to move away from. Okay. Or, you know, you're going to transition to revenue generation, and the con for that is it's all your responsibility and there's no backup. There's no income coming in, right, from another source. But the pro is that you get to design your life the way you want to design it. You get to have freedom of time. You're no longer exchanging time for money. You can leverage your time. And that is gold, okay? And how can you keep the doors open with your boss? so that you can go back if you ever needed to. And if you're a good employee, most bosses will allow that to happen. You know, I was in a full-time job and I approached my boss and told them I was setting up a business. It was not in competition, of course, with my boss. It was a completely different field. And they were more than happy to support me, and they were happy to let me go from 5 days to 3 days, and then they even let me go to 2, and then 1, and then I was out. And they knew I was going to be out, but they valued my input enough to support me right till the very end, till when I had to jump ship and go the 5 days a week. I preferred that because I had small children at the time. I was a single mum, and I needed to have a certain level of income. Okay, so that's why I did it that way. But if you've got some capital behind you and you can afford to take that leap of faith and just jump out, it's going to be much faster to get your business up and running. It will be. But it also will cost some money. There'll be some time where you won't be making enough revenue to make ends meet. So you need that capital behind you to support that. It's up to you. It's all up to you. You can do whatever you like in this area. It's what's comfortable for you. It's what you can sleep at night with. That's really important. You've got to feel safe to do whatever you're going to do. Okay? So if you're serious about, because I know there's many of you here, if you're serious about going from a full-time job and doing your business as a side hustle, okay, to changing that around and getting into your business full-time, I'm more than happy to have a coffee chat with you about it, complimentary. I've freed up a couple of spaces for next week if you'd like to do that with me, and we can probably sort out a bit of a plan based on your profile, based on your business, based on where you're at right now. I can give you some, we can come up with a plan together to get you out faster. And give you some goals, set some goals so that you'll do that and you'll make that transition. So if you'd like to have a session with me about how to move from paycheck to profit, then just type in the comments below coffee, and we'll have a coffee chat. I'll get someone to reach out to you and send you a link to book a time in for a coffee chat, one-on-one, okay? I'm very passionate about this, and I want to make sure that everybody can start earning their money from their business and start building their legacy, building their profits, and building their asset base. Okay. Thanks everyone for coming today. I really appreciate you being here. For the people who watch the replay, please let me know you're watching a replay. That would be great. And if you've got any questions, put some questions in the comments below. I always get back to you. Okay. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you again next week for another session of taking care of business. Bye.